my friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin, and today we're doing a new horror reading vlog. I have a stack of 5 books that I will be reading in this video. I'm filming this intro after I've already read all the books. I do that a lot sometimes because then I know what to talk about in the intro. Anyways, so the 5 books that I'll be reading or talking about. On Sundays, she picked Flowers, which I know a lot of people have been talking about. This one's technically not a new release. It came out last year, I think around September, but it's new to me, and that's Playing Wolf. This is a translated book, but the author is Czech. Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher, which I'm very excited about. Humboldt Cut, an eco horror. And The Hill in the Dark Grove. This is technically not out in the US, but I got my book from the UK, which it is out in the UK. So I'll be reading and discussing these 5 books. I hope you all are excited to hear my thoughts on them, and hopefully this gives you an idea of what they're about, if you should check them out, if you might like them, or you can just see what I thought and see if I have the same feelings and thoughts that you did when you read them. So I hope you all are excited, intrigued, and keep watching because the video is about to start. Well, it started, but the reading portion is about to start. So I will see you here soon. Okay, time for a little update. I finished on Sundays, She Picked Flowers. This was a very interesting novella. I feel like there were times where it was predictable and then times where I was like, wait, what is happening in this short little punchy book? I don't even know what I was expecting from it because, again, I didn't really read the plot, which is typical for me because I tend to like going into books blind and not reading plots because, I don't know, sometimes a book gives too much away in a plot description. Sometimes it doesn't even match what the book's really about. When I have no real expectations going into a story, I tend to enjoy it more. On the flip side, sometimes I enjoy it less because I end up not liking it, or it has things in the plot that I don't typically like, but because I don't read the plots often, I don't know that. So sometimes it works in my favor, sometimes it doesn't. But I think in this case it did work in my favor because there were so many elements to it that I was shocked by and so many elements that I didn't expect to be in this story. So anyways, let me tell you what this is about. We are following the main character, Jude, and she is 41, I believe. She lives with her mother, and her mother have a very tumultuous relationship because her mother is abusive. And one day, Jude has had enough and she ends up leaving her home, and she finds refuge in this house in the forest, in the wilderness, and she starts her life kind of over. She starts taking care of this house because the house has its own like personality. She kind of connects with the house. It becomes like an unlikely companion, and there are also ghosts in the house. She learns to coexist with both the house and the ghosts, and she creates her own little life in this, forest. She forages, she finds meat, she also goes into town and she like converses with the people there, but she creates this own little life. Then it's disrupted because this woman shows up and she feels this like pull towards her. There's like something about her that Jude just like, there's something there, and they have this connection and they start up this like relationship. The beginning of this book really knocks you off your socks because it starts off so quick. Like it's just so fast, it's so punchy, it's so captivating. I was hooked from the first chapter. I was like, whoa, what is going to happen? And I felt like in the beginning I was like, there's so much happening, and now I'm like, whoa. I felt like once Jude gets to her little house in the forest, it felt a lot like Bloom at times by Delilah S. Dawson. There were a lot of elements that I found similar, especially in like the relationship and I don't know, just like there's just some things there that I think if you liked Bloom, you would probably really like this. I think my biggest critique, and I don't know how to explain this without giving too much away because what I'm talking about is very specific, but after Jude meets this woman, some things happen, and then Jude ends up leaving and doing something else. That part of the book, I almost felt like I thought was unnecessary. I understand why the author put it in the book, and I understand what the author was doing, and I think for the plot they were creating, it makes sense. I just think for me, when I was reading it, I was like, wait, why? Why are we doing that? Don't do that. No, I didn't like that. So I feel like that little chunk I didn't really enjoy. I get why it's there. I get the purpose of it. I just think for me, I didn't really care for it. But I did really like the ending, and I feel like the story as a whole was really good and very, it's very sad. It's talking about generational trauma, family trauma, abuse. It's talking about love. I mean, it's a really big, love is like a really big part, because not just like family love, but people like romantic love, friendship love, like it's very much there, in how abuse can kind of twist the idea that no one will be able to love you the way that you are. So it's a very beautiful story. I think the author's writing is gorgeous. It's very, very, like, I want to say ethereal. It really takes you into the story. Like, I felt like I was really there with the descriptions of the forest and the plants and just like the environment. I felt like it was really, really descriptive and really just, I don't know, like it made my brain able to put me in the actual setting, which I like. I love when a book can actually put me into the setting. So I really, really loved the writing of this. I think this author is very talented. I would definitely be open to reading more from this author. I think this is a debut. I think they've only posted, yeah, anthologies and like posted in magazines. So I think, oh, and a short story collection. Okay, yeah, so I think this is like their debut novella, and I really, really enjoyed it. I would give this probably a 4-star. It wasn't a 5-star for me, but I think I really, really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy it. It is kind of dark. It's actually a lot more gruesome at times, especially in the very beginning, than I thought it was going to be. So there are some trigger warnings in the beginning of the book, so if you need them, I would highly recommend checking them out, because this book, it's got some heavy topics involved. But I did really like this. I'm glad we started the vlog on this, because I think it was a really good start. I feel good. I feel like we can find more books that I really enjoy. So I'm happy with this. I have to film today because I've been pushing it off, so I'm going to do my makeup here and get ready to film, which you all will probably see that video before this vlog goes up, so but I will be filming here shortly, and then I will probably pick my next book. I don't know what I want to read. I feel like I have so many options, but I'm not really sure which one to go with. So yeah, I don't know which one I'm gonna pick, but I'm gonna film first because that is top priority. It's a short book. I will come in when I've finished. If not, I'll probably check in halfway-ish and let you know what's going on. Okay, I am here to update you all. I decided to go with Playing Wolf by Zuzana Rihova. I don't know if I'm saying this author's name right because they are Czech, so I'm not sure if I'm correct in the pronunciation, but I picked this one. It came out last year, I think around September, so it's not a new release, but it's still new in my heart, and I really wanted to read it because I thought it sounded so interesting, and I should have known that me being so excited to read this, it would not turn out well for me. I'm so annoyed. I have so many feelings about this book. Let me tell you what it's about. It's about this married couple who have a son, and they have moved from Prague to the countryside. They're trying to start over. It's pretty unclear why for sure they're starting over. I'm assuming it's because of things that happen in the relationship, which you kind of find out about, but not really, and also because of their son. The way they describe their son, he's 12, and they say that he has a cognitive impairment. Personally, I think he is autistic. That's what it sounds like when they describe his behaviors and they explain like things that he does. I just think it sounds like autism. So that's what they say, and I guess that the accumulation of all that stuff, they just wanted to start anew, start fresh. So of course every couple always goes to the countryside because I guess that's where people think they're going to be able to start over fresh. I don't know. They always leave the city and then go to the countryside. So that's the plot. The town is weird. The townspeople are, I don't know, they're just bizarre people. I think it's supposed to be like Midsummer, kind of cult-like, a little small town doing things that, you know, they want to do, and that there are no laws keeping them to not doing what they want. So that's pretty much the plot, honestly. My biggest problem is I had such a hard time reading this book. I've read a lot of translated books, and I think usually I do not have a problem with them. In my experience, at least, it's never been a problem where I'm like, oh, the translation is bad, or oh, this is really bothering me. I'm not sure if it's this author's style. I'm not sure if it's the translation. I'm not sure if it's a combination of both. I don't really know, but it was so hard to read. All the characters feel the exact same, so sometimes a chapter will start and they'll just say he's doing this, he says this. I'm like, who is he? Which one? Who are we talking about? And then they'll say a name, or they'll say like a few words that obviously trigger me to connect it to a character. And I'm like, okay, I can't tell any character apart because they all sound the exact same. Their voices don't have any distinct difference. So it was so confusing. I felt like the sentences didn't really make a lot of sense. They were very choppy. I felt like I needed more explanation on things because the sentences just didn't give a lot, and it left me very, very confused. I found it very hard to follow. I felt like sometimes the timeline jumped around, so it was like before something happened and then after something happened, and I couldn't tell until they stated like a particular phrase or something, and I was like, okay, so this has happened before, got it. Like, it was just so hard to figure out what was going on. It was so confusing. The other thing I did not like about this book is the R slur was used about the son multiple times because he has a disability, and they love to use that word. So that was used, I don't know, a handful of times, maybe like 6 or 7, maybe like 5 or 6, I don't know, between 5 and 7 times. It was used enough that it got on my nerves. There's a lot of animal cruelty, and I say a lot, I mean, I guess it depends on what you think, but it has a lot of stuff with cows giving birth. There's a scene with a fox. I don't know, it was like weird that I just didn't need to read about it. It was just, I don't know. I don't know if it was to indicate that the characters were evil when we already knew that, because of things that they said or thought. Like, it was kind of easy because there were people that were racist. They obviously made slurs directed to the son. I mean, they weren't good people, but I don't think any of the characters are good people. The husband, the wife, they don't even like each other. Again, with a husband and wife not liking each other, I don't really think they really like their son very much. I think they find his disability a hindrance, and I think they get really frustrated. They get really, really, really mad that he's not, you know, normal. So I don't know, it was just a weird book. It was supposed to be some kind of retelling or reimagining of Red Riding Hood, which I guess I kind of got at the end, but it was really weird. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. I felt like the ending, I don't know if I know exactly what happened. Honestly, I don't know if I know exactly what happened throughout the whole book. It was just not for me. And I'm really sad because I'm pretty sure this is my first book from a Czech author, and I'm sad that it didn't go well. So I'm really disappointed. I thought the cover was so cool. I thought the idea of it was cool. I really wanted to like this, and it just did not work. So we're gonna pivot. I was saving this book towards the end of the vlog because I have a feeling I'm going to really like it. But since we've had such a bad book now, I think I'm just gonna push this book up. I'm going to read Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. You all know I love T. Kingfisher. She's one of my favorite authors, and this is her newest horror, but it's supposed to be kind of gross. It sounds like it's gonna be about worms, which I don't know how I feel about that, but it looks really cool, and I really enjoy T. Kingfisher's writing, so this is the next one. Hopefully this book doesn't bring down the vlog, but this is the one I will be reading now. Alright, I just finished, like literally just finished Wolfworm. I am very glad that I decided to pick this one up after the last fiasco because I knew T. Kingfisher wouldn't steer me wrong, okay? I knew it. I am gonna give this 4 stars. It's definitely not my new, like, favorite from her. I think her previous newer release, Snake Eater, was way better, but I think that's just the kind of story that I like more. This one felt a lot like a mix of What Moves the Dead and A House with Good Bones. A House of Good Bones? A House with Good Bones? A House with Good Bones. A House with Good Bones? Why can't I remember the title? I definitely am half asleep. I'm so tired right now. Where's a list of previous work or whatever? Let me see. A House with Good Bones. Why was I trying to say, I don't know, whatever. It felt a lot like a combination of those two. Not necessarily the exact same, but I felt like a lot of elements were definitely familiar. In this book, we're following Sonia Wilson. She is a female scientist, and specifically she's a female, like, scientist illustrator. So she likes to illustrate bugs, animals, mostly plants. Her father was a naturalist, and she would do a lot of, like, his drawings, or she would do a lot of drawings for him. And she gets a job for this doctor, Dr. Halder, and he offers her a position to do some illustrations for this, like, science book that he's making, and she of course readily accepts. So she shows up, and there's not a lot of people in this house. It's this doctor, the housekeeper, the housekeeper's husband, and then another, like, younger girl is also working around the house, like tidying up as another housekeeper. So it's like a big house, and she just feels like the doctor's really weird. He's he's very secretive, but he's also very like gruff and like he's pretty mean. He's not a very nice guy, and she's not used to drawing insects the way she is plants. That's just not really her forte, but of course this is a job, so she's gonna do it. And she starts getting suspicious about the previous illustrator. She's like taking over for them, and she's like kind of questioning them. There's also some weird things with animals in the forest that they're nearby. It's like a whole thing. And so she starts kind of, you know, snooping around and gets roped into what the doctor is up to. I am going to preface this right now. If you don't like books about bugs, you're not gonna like this. You're not gonna like this. I hate bugs, okay? Like, I hate them. I don't even think there's a bug that I like. Like, butterflies are, like, fine. Ladybugs, yeah. Like, I mean, like, they're okay, right? Like, I'm not, like, I don't hate them. But if you ask me, Erin, if you had to pick a bug or an animal, what would you pick? I'm never gonna pick a bug. I'm never gonna pick a bug. I'm sorry, especially spiders. I am so afraid of spiders. I think all bugs are like germy little nasty little things. I don't like them. And so this book made my face, my head, my arms, my legs, everything itch. Oh my God, just reading it, I was like itchy all the time. I was like grossed out just because I hate bugs, okay? I hate them. So if you don't like bugs and you don't like books about bugs, I would definitely stay away from this. We just started getting ants in our apartment, which if you know how annoying ants are, okay? If you know, you understand how we feel right now. But I think this is ramping up the like itchy twitchiness I already feel. Like, you know when you're trying to look for bugs in your apartment and you're like watching any little speck, any movement, you're like, what was that? Oh no, okay. What's that? Oh, okay. You're like, you know what I mean? Like you have that, okay, maybe this isn't a normal thing. It is to me. This is how I react. So maybe you understand, maybe you don't. But I feel like I'm already twitchy and on edge and agitated from the ants that I'm like, this amplified everything and all my feelings were like heightened. So yeah, definitely icky, very gross to read about. It also takes a very interesting twist in the end where I didn't expect this book to go in any direction that it did, because one, I wasn't really trying to predict it. I read it in one sitting, so it was a very quick read, but I think I was just so caught off guard about the bugs that I was like, I don't even know what's happening in this book. I can't think about it right now. I'm just gonna read. The plot will show itself to me. Like, I couldn't even be bothered because it was just like, I was too distraught, right? But I will say that the ending is very interesting just because I did not expect it to go in the direction that it did. It's very surprising. I think that'll mean either a lot of people will like it or a lot of people will hate it. Honestly, this is gonna be one of those books where I truly don't know. I think it's gonna be, if you like T. Kingfisher's writing, especially her horror books, and you like this kind of vibe, if you really enjoyed What Moves the Dead and A House with Good Bones, if you like that kind of thing, I think you might like this. But I can see a lot of people not liking it and thinking that the plot is just crazy and gross, which it is. But I swear, T. Kingfisher really is the only one that can make me grossed out an entire book. You know, and I was laughing because the duality of T. Kingfisher is so crazy. Like, she writes a book like this, which is just nauseatingly bleh. And then you read one of her little cute fantasies where it's like, like, this woman's crazy, okay? She's an incredible author, but it's crazy how you can read this book and then go to, like, Sword Heart. And they just feel worlds apart. Yeah, I just think it wasn't my favorite because a lot of the science-y aspects I think were really confusing to me. But again, I'm not really like a science person. I'm not saying this is like science fiction. No, just like, you know, bugs, animals, biology, that kind of thing. I think it just, some of it I was like, what are we talking about? What? And I would reread it and I'm like, I think I know what we're talking about, but I don't know. So I think that kind of went over my head a little bit. It's not like I thoroughly enjoyed reading about bugs, but it was an entertaining time. And I like the writing. I love the characters, of course. So I have to give it to T. Kingfisher. It was a entertaining, fun, gross, creepy read. And that's what I signed up for. So she killed it. I have 2 other books that I want to get read in this vlog, and I don't know which ones I want to read. I don't know which one I want to read first. Humboldt Cut, not Humboldt Court, even though that's what I want to keep calling it. This is, you know, I don't actually, this is eco horror, right? I don't know if it's exactly what it's going to be because I haven't read too much eco horror. But it says it combines the botanical terrors of annihilation and the psychological horror of the only good Indians with a dash of Jordan Peele. So it could be really fun. Could be fun. And then this one, The Hill in the Dark Grove. Why did that take me? Why was I sounding it out like I had no idea how to read? The Hill in the Dark Grove. I don't know what to expect from this one either. This one says it's like slow burning, creepy, eerie, but I'm between these 2, so one of them will be next and then I'll read the other after that. So every time I walk into this room now and I turn on my skeleton lamp, I just want to like lay down and take a nap in here. It's so cozy. Like the lighting in here is just so warm and like, oh, I just could like lay down and take a nap. Wow, my hair is a mess. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you can tell on camera from this direction, but like it's just such a warmer lighting in here now, and oh my god, it's just like so, like it's so cozy. It's also so dreary outside and it's not blazing hot and there's just like a chill in the air. It's giving fall, and that's breaking my heart a little bit because we're about to enter summer and I hate summer. So I kind of want to stay in this room and keep this my fall bubble and pretend that we're not entering summer soon. But anyways, that was a really rambling beginning. I'm here to talk about Humboldt Cut, okay? Now, would this be an Erin reading vlog if I didn't DNF a book? I really thought that this was going to be one where I didn't DNF, but I can't read this book anymore. Okay? I've given it 130 some pages. Like I've read the book, okay? Like I'm reading it, I've been reading it for like 3 days now, and I don't want to pick it up. I don't want to pick it up. I don't like it. The writing is killing me. The writing, and I'm pretty sure this is this author's debut. I'm trying to be nice because I think a lot of people are gonna like this. I think if you like eco horror, I think if you like creature features, you'll probably really enjoy this. For me, the writing is so hard to read. It's very choppy. It's very clunky. I feel like this author is over explaining a lot of things. I feel like we're spending paragraphs where this author is just writing out literally every single thing that's happening. Like, I picked this up, I put it down, I then turned a quarter of a centimeter this way. Like, it's so, it's so descriptive, but in a, let me just tell you everything and not show you anything. So I think that's really hard for me because it's taking me out a little bit, because I'm reading these long paragraphs that just feel like they have no purpose or reason, or they just don't need to be there. So I'm almost wanting to skim and like skip paragraphs because I'm like, just get to the story. Like, just get to the story. It also jumps around a lot. Like, I feel like we're jumping perspectives a ton in a chapter. Like, inside one chapter, it'll jump from this person to this person. And I'm like, whoa, what? No. Wait. And then I get really confused because I'm like, wait, then who are we on now? And then it just makes me want to, makes me want to like bang my head into the book. What else? It's just taking a really long time. I feel like it doesn't need to be this long, and it's not a super long book, right? It's not a million pages, but it's 337, right? I don't think this needs to be over 300 pages. I think this could have been a 200-page book and just cut out all the stuff that feels super unnecessary, which is a lot of the stuff that I'm reading. The main character is also really aggravating. She's just a frustrating character. She is very unlikable. I kind of want to shake her when she says things because she contradicts herself a lot. She also has a lot of suicidal ideation, so be warned about that. I definitely think that's a trigger. She brings up dying a lot, like a lot, and not in a joking like, ugh, kill me. It's more like, let's think about death and let's think about maybe I should be dead. It's more like that. Not very funny. This is supposed to be funny, by the way. This says it's a darkly humorous novel of eco horror. I don't really think it's funny. I mean, maybe it's just not like my humor, or I'm just not like seeing the humorous aspect because I'm already distracted by the writing and the unlikable characters. So, I mean, I could just be not seeing what's funny. The eco horror feels like such a small part too, and it's kind of annoying because I think it's pretty interesting, like this creature feature aspect we're getting. I don't dislike it, which is big for me because I don't like a creature feature, but I am enjoying that. It's everything else, and honestly, I don't even care that much to see how it's gonna go. Like, I just don't care. I rather just DNF, because if I keep reading, I don't think this would even be a 3-star. It would probably be a 2.5, if that. So I feel like it's smarter for me to put this down at this stage than read it and give it a negative review. Do you know what I mean? That's always how I feel. I feel like if I kept reading, it would just be such a negative review and negative feelings because I forced myself to continue. And this book could work for so many other people that I don't want to like say it's the worst book I've ever read, because it's not. But it's just not what I want to read. I'm not enjoying myself. It's not fun. I'm not having a good time. I can see myself going into a slump if I keep reading this, so I'd rather just put it down than try to persist and hate it. Which is really sad because I really liked the idea of an eco horror. Like, I haven't read, I think the only eco horror that I've read is The Ruins, and I didn't love it. I think I gave it 3.5. So I was really hoping to fall in love with one, but yeah, I'm not enjoying it. There's also a lot of time jumping now. Like, we're going back in time every few chapters, and it's just really distracting. I really don't know what any of this has to do with anything. I'm assuming it'll all come together, but I don't know if it'll come together in a satisfying way. So I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna DNF this, which sucks. But we're gonna move on to The Hill in the Dark Grove by Liam Higginson. So this is technically not out in the US yet. This is coming out later this year. I bought this from Blackwell's because it is out in the UK, so that's why I have it. But this isn't out yet. Okay, this is the UK cover. The US cover has a sheep on it. I am hoping I like this. It's about sheep farmers, not sheep farmers. Sheep farmers in the Welsh mountains. What this is gonna be, maybe folk horror. I think this might be folk horror. So I'm gonna start this and hope that I like this better than this, and that we're not ending on a horrible note. But this is the next book, the last book, and I will check in. Alright, so I've done it. I've finished the last book, The Hill in the Dark Grove. I have so many mixed thoughts right now. I literally just finished it like 5 minutes ago. So I feel, I don't know, I have mixed thoughts. I am like toggling between a 3.5, a 3.75, and a 4-star because my feelings are just so mixed on this book. I have, like, my brain feels scrambled. I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I was going to, especially, I mean, look, I thought I was gonna like it because I thought it sounded interesting and I liked the cover and like all the things that made me want to pick it up. You know, in my head I was like, well, I might like this. Now, does that always happen that I end up liking a book just because of certain qualities a book has? No, I end up, you know, hating a lot of books I read, which sucks. So I don't ever want to hate books. But this one, you know, I was getting a little worried because it's kind of like a folk horror book, kind of. It is a folk horror. And folk horror is so hit or miss for me. And I can't even explain to you why or like what makes it a hit or a miss. It really just depends. Like, it depends on how I feel when I'm reading and how I feel when I finish. I think there's a lot of factors that play into a folk horror book. It can really just be, if these all play well together, I end up liking it. If they all play poorly together, I hate it. You know, like, it's hard to like pinpoint one thing and say this is what I don't like about folk horror, because there's not just one thing I can say. So I got a little worried. Let me tell you what this is about. This is about a husband and a wife who, I think they're in their 60s, and they are sheep farmers in the mountains of Wales. The husband, I would say their names, but honestly, I'm probably not going to even pronounce them right, so I'm not even going to try. The husband, his family have always been sheep farmers, so he was like raised for this job. And him and his wife are having a rough year with their sheep, and that's how the book starts. And one day the husband, he unearths this weird rock. This weird like stone. And once he unearths this stone, he kind of becomes obsessed, okay? Because when he finds the one stone, he finds more and more and more, okay? And he becomes obsessed, and weird things start happening. This is a very slow book. I would say nothing really happens except for maybe like starting like here. And I can tell that's gonna make people really upset. Honestly, I'm not a fan of that slow of a book, but I think this does a very good job of the slowness. It's very eerie because, you know, there's not a lot of things happening. They're going about their daily life. They're tending to their sheep. They're talking about how they met. They're talking about their lives. They're talking about what it's like to be a sheep farmer. I mean, it's very like benign, everyday things, but they become eerie because just one thing will happen and it's weird, right? And they're all alone, they're isolated, the weather can turn in a blink of an eye, and I think that adds to it. In a weird way, this kind of reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I know that's gonna be so strange to some people, but if you watched Courage growing up, I mean, they lived in the middle of nowhere, right? And these two remind me of Muriel and Eustace, except they actually have a really beautiful relationship and they actually love each other and they're both like kind, sweet individuals. Whereas, you know, Eustace is a terrible human being in Courage. I don't know, there's just something about it. I think it's because, you know, the premise of Courage, they're in the middle of nowhere and these weird, bizarre, outlandish, crazy things happen. So I would think of it of a way less wild out there version of Courage. That's kind of what it reminded me of. I know that sounds weird, but that's like what was popping up in my head. And I think it's because they're so isolated. They live in this you know, cabin and they're out there, and yes, they can leave, obviously, but because of weather, it can make them super, super isolated. And they really only have each other's company plus the sheep, and then they have a dog, obviously, to help with the sheep. So I think because they're so limited in interaction with people, it reminds me of being like in that show. I don't know. It also kind of reminded me of The Witch. If you watch that A24 movie, that's one of my favorites. I love that movie so much. It kind of reminds me of that because so little is happening, but the little things that are happening are so odd and like perplexing and eerie. And then like, you know, it's built up to the end, right? Like the end of the movie, the end of this, they kind of feel similar in my opinion, just off of vibes, not necessarily plot, but those are the two things I thought of while I was reading this book. I love these two's relationship. These two, their love is so sweet. This book is so sad. This book is so sad. Okay, because her husband becomes obsessed and he's not himself, right? He slowly starts just becoming less of the person she knows. And it's so sad to hear them reminisce about each other and talk about how much they love each other and how much they've gone through together. They've known each other for so long. And it's just so beautiful, but it's so sad. The ending made me so sad. It was heartbreaking, but like, it was a good book. That's why I'm so like torn. There is animal death in this book. I mean, they're sheep farmers and I don't know, the animal deaths, they're not that brutal. There's one that I think is pretty intense. It's not with a sheep or with a dog, it's with a different animal, and it's pretty intense, and I think there is a purpose there. So it's hard because I think everything that's in this book is very purposeful. I don't love animal death, but I do respect how the author incorporated it, especially when you're dealing with farmers, which, I mean, if you're talking about farmers, you know that animals are gonna die and stuff. So, I think that I liked what the author did and how they did it, so I will say that. But there is animal death. It is sad, you know. I mean, what else can I say? This is just a very interesting book. I feel like I've read books similar to this, but this has been the best. I think this one's been the best one done with the type of horror that it's trying to do. I think, in my personal opinion, this one has worked the best. I think this would make an incredible movie. Incredible. I can definitely see this being turned into a movie, and I think it would be a really, really good dreadful, like just that like creeping dread kind of feeling while you watch it. So I I would think this would make a great movie, but I'm very torn on how I feel. I'm saying all positive things, so I don't know why I'm like, oh. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. There are things about it like the slowness, but it didn't necessarily bother me. The animal death was really upsetting, but also I do respect how the author handled it. I feel like I'm leaning towards a 3.75 to a 4. I did really like this. I think this is going to be a good book. I can see a lot of people really liking this, and I can see a lot of people hating it because, again, it's slow. It's really, really slow. There's also a lot of Welsh folklore in here, and I loved that. I loved that a lot because I don't know a lot about Wales, and I found it really, really, really interesting. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say, but I did enjoy this a lot. I think a lot of people are gonna like it. And that, my friends, is the end of this vlog. I read I read 4 books and I DNF'd 1, but 5 books included in this video, so I think that's pretty dang good. Let me know if you've read any of these new horror releases, if they're on your radar, what you thought. You know, I love to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. Let me know if there are any other books that you want to see in a vlog to hear me talk about. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know the drill. With that being said, I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!